to the session, ma'am.
Not come. I'm audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, yes, yes.
Very much.
Hello. Good evening, friends. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Oh, yeah, Merita, it is asking me to admit. What is this? My God. Ma. Merita?
Ma'am, you don't
I
admit.
will take care that, ma'am. I will take care that.
எனக்கு ஏன் வருது? சரி.
Don't need.
Good evening, friends. Before introducing this doctor, I want to ask you all one question. If you have diabetes, you will go naturally to diabetology, right? If you have kidney problem, you will go to nephrology. If you have heart problem, definitely you will go to cardiology. Likewise. But before going to all the ologists, please go to your family physician first, who should be a guru to guide you. This doctor is such a doctor who is our family physician for all of us. This doctor, Dr. Sankar TSR Mohana Selvan, is an experienced medical practitioner practicing for the past 38 years. He has traveled to different countries to educate himself in different methods of treatment. In addition to MBBS, he has finished diploma in acupuncture from China, Moscow, and Russia, and CBM from Germany, and quantum biofeedback from USA. He has been practicing integrated medicine and is also a family health consultant presently through Concept Wellness Integrated Therapy. He has established this integrated therapy facility at Chennai, catering to all chronic, difficult to treat and therapy resistant diseases. Please use his views for this. Thank you. Doctor, please come.
Thank you very much for the introduction, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. As madam said, basically, I am proud to be a family medical practitioner because of late, the family medical practice, people's awareness about this is gone. So most of the time what happens is people, for whatever reason, whatever complication they have, they immediately look for the specialist, and sometimes they really don't know which specialist to go, and they land up in a wrong specialist, and that specialist does all the investigation and finally says that everything is okay, you need to go to some other people or some other specialist, something like that. So if you have, as madam correctly said, the tradition of family medical practitioners, then that will be the best thing you can ever have, because he will be the person who can guide you properly. He may not be able to give a solution to all the problems, but surely he can guide you where you have to go and what is the best option that is available for the given condition at that present time. So always be in touch with your family practitioner.
Mute. Sometimes there's an echo in the voice. People should mute it, please.
Please, everyone, mute yourself. So it is the tradition of family medical practice has completely died down nowadays in the modern era, but which has to be re-established because the awareness of the people is not there. Anyway, I can come to this at a later time. Now I wanted to share some of my experiences, what I had in the last 38 years of my practice. I started my practice way back in 1983, end of 1983, 84. And I'm sorry. Just a minute, I have to have the slides ready. Share is not happening.
It's already on share only.
Already on share.
You just have to go to slideshow and from the beginning.
So this is not that, I think. I just opened it now.
Yeah, it is already on a share screen mode now. If this comes itself, you are sharing screen.
Okay.
You are already just sharing the screen.
Okay.
You just have to make it slideshow.
Sorry for the interruption, because sometimes in spite of the technology we have at our fingertips, we get into trouble. Anyway, the main thing what I wanted to share is my 38 years of experience, which will be helpful for all of you to live a relatively healthy and happy life. That's what the main intention of my practice for more than 3 to 4 decades. Most of the time what happens is people land up in problem not because of the disease per se, because of lack of awareness and because of lack of knowledge. They land up in a wrong situation, leading on to a lot of complications and advancement of disease and things like that. So I would like to share some of the few things which has been very useful information for the people. And the first I would like to share is about the regular and relevant investigations which people have to do. Because in my practice, I come across a lot of people who come and say, "Doctor, I want to do a master health checkup. Because I'm 40 plus, I'm 50 plus, I'm 60 plus, I want to do a master health checkup." When we do the master health checkup, what happens is, many times, most of the investigation comes normal. If the patient is healthy, it is fine. But sometimes what happens is the patients are not healthy, but still most of the investigation results come as normal. What is the cause for this? The cause is you are not searching in the right location. It is something like searching for a cat when it is shouting from the next room. Just because you hear the sound of the cat in another room, if you start searching, what will happen? You will never find it. You have to go into the next room to find the cat. Similarly, what happens is this master health checkup is something like searching for the cat in the different room where the real cat is shouting is not being touched. The meaning what I say is there are fixed sets of investigation which goes with the master health checkup. Rather than going to the master health checkup, the best way what I have been advising my people is you can have the master health checkup probably once in 3 years or 4 years because some basic information is there. But always go for a relevant investigation. What does relevant investigation mean? Relevant investigation is if a person has got a family history of, let's say, for example, diabetes, or family history of hypertension, or family history of cancer, or family history of many chronic diseases, kidney diseases. If you do a normal investigation, you will not find any problem in that patient. Let's say, for example, the simplest thing is people having diabetes and hypertension, they have problem affecting the kidneys, problem affecting the liver, problem affecting the heart, problem affecting the vascular system, problem affecting the eyes, joints, and many things. This master health checkup does not give any information about many of the things what I have mentioned. For example, a simple example, we come across a lot of people who have a family history of heart and they have been having hypertension and diabetes for more than 5 to 10 years. But in the routine investigation, you have, if they are taking medicines, the blood test results shows plus or minus depending upon the type of medicine they are taking or type of control they are having. But it does not ever reveal anything about the end organ damage or that is happening inside the system. Suddenly one day they land up in a heart problem. But what they do is they say, I've been doing a master health checkup, I do have a regular checkup, I'm checking my blood glucose every week, but still how is it possible? Because the investigation does not reveal what you have done, any problem related to vascular system or any problem related to the functionality of the heart. ECG alone does not give any information except for the electrical function of the heart, and that too if the heart is damaged beyond a certain level, only then you will be able to have any impact on the ECG. Otherwise, we have seen many times the patient ECG is normal. 2 days down the line, the patient land up in a massive cardiac arrest or heart attack or something like that. How is it possible? Because the impact that the vascular system has produced on the heart is not revealed in the ECG. It does not mean, I don't say that you should not do this test, but you have to do a master health checkup once in a while, but discuss with your physician and find out what else you can do specifically which is related to your disease. This simple example, as I told you, is hypertension and diabetes. We can do a test called as HSCRP. HSCRP is, you all nowadays know, when the COVID is there, they do this HSCRP. What does it mean? It means that it is a reflection of the inflammation in the vascular system. This vascular system inflammation is not revealed with the common, normal, day-to-day, regular investigations. You have to ask for this specific, highly sensitive CRP. Only they reveal whether the patient is going for any cardiac related events in the near future. And of course, there are a few other things also like homocysteine. Homocysteine has never been done in a master health checkup. Unless otherwise you do it, these two are the very important cardiac markers, then how do you know? Just because a master health checkup is being promoted by a lot of laboratory services, a lot of hospitals, you go and you think that you are normal, but really you are not normal. In the real sense, you are not normal. So what is that you can do? The best way you have to overcome this is go to your consultant or your family practitioner, ask for the relevant investigation. Once in a while you have to do it and make sure that those parameters which can have an impact because of your disease, meaning that diabetes is a disease by itself, but it does not create any killing effect, but it produces problems in other organs or end organ damage, what we call, that has to be investigated. Just checking a blood sugar and seeing that blood sugar is normal, is high or low, and adjusting the medication is not of any use at all. And similarly, that hypertension, people say that, sir, my blood pressure is absolutely under control. Well, everything is fine, but sometime down the line, the patient lands up in a kidney failure. How is it possible? Because chronic low-grade hypertension also can produce kidney damage. It is the chronicity, the prolonged time with which they have the hypertension is the one which counts, not the, per se, the level of the blood pressure. Let's say, for example, patient is having 170 by 110. It does not mean that they will land up in a problem immediately. But even if they have 140 by 100, which is on the upper level of the normalcy, just beyond that, if that is there for a longer period, that can land up the person in a major cardiac event. So it is always better to do a relevant investigation. That is what I wanted to impress upon you all. The next one, the most important one and highly ignored one, is the food. Hippocrates said 2000 years before, let food be thy medicine. So what does it mean? Food, how can food be a medicine? Because you must all be aware that our existence depends upon the food what we take. If the quality of the food is not proper, it does not mean you have to buy things which is very expensive and you have to take food which is only organic, not like that. The proper food that is required for that specific age and that specific given condition in any part of your life. Let's say, for example, you can have a high protein diet in your 20s and 30s. But if you are in a high protein diet at the age of 50 or 60, there will be a lot of stress on your kidneys. If you take enough salt or even a little bit more salt in your early days, it is absolutely fine because your kidneys and your liver and all the metabolic organs are well within the normal range to handle these assaults. But once you cross the age of 45 or 50, the total scenario changes. Please remember, 1 teaspoon of salt for a healthy person, what I mean to say is a normal BP person, will increase the blood pressure by 10 or 15 points. The same 1 teaspoon of sugar, salt for a person who is having a hypertension will increase the hypertension by 40 to 50 points. It's not the quantity of the salt you take. It is the receptiveness and the condition of the body that counts. So you should not go with the level or type, the quantity of the food what we take. The quality of the food and what is to be taken at that point of life is very, very important. And people generally think that just taking the food which is satisfying, not heavy stomach, is more than enough. It will create health. Health can never be created just like that. Health and wellness have to be earned, meaning that you need to work hard to keep your best of your health and wellness. So it is not just given as a gift by people, by God. Many people say, by God's grace, I am healthy. It is definitely not God's grace. Of course, God's grace is required for everything. That is going without saying. But that person is healthy because knowingly or unknowingly, they have been having a very disciplined food. That is what the main factor is. So you should never take things for granted. Never take health for granted. Please always have a conscious choice and be aware of the food what we take. Always it has to be there. It is just, there are some people who say, doctor, I don't take sugar at all. But you know what, my blood sugar is always high. Then is there anything you take sweet? No. The doctor said not to take sugar. So I take brown sugar or jaggery or some other name they say, and I'm taking only that, I'm not taking white sugar. Please remember, no matter what type, what name it goes, anything that is sweet will increase the diabetes. It is only going to be two things. One is they are called as low glycemic food and another one is a high glycemic food. Low glycemic food increases the blood sugar slightly in a slower pace, and high glycemic food increases the sugar in a very high level. Let's say for a simple example, if you take an apple, it is slightly low glycemic, moderately glycemic I would say. It will not increase the blood sugar very high. But if you take a watermelon, within few minutes your blood sugar will skyrocket. Both are fruits, both are having good fiber, both are good for health, both have a lot of antioxidant effect, but still the glycemic index of the food that counts. The one that shoots up damages more, the one that slowly increases the blood sugar will damage less. It does not mean that it is not damaging. Anything that is sweet has to be avoided in diabetes. So these type of information is very important. I have a patient who came and said that, no, I don't take anything, only natural, I only take honey. Honey is it is a high glycemic index food. You cannot take honey in a diabetic. Just because you don't take sugar does not mean that you are perfectly covered. Please remember that you have to understand and you have to have a conscious choice in taking the food. So food is very, very important. Let food be thy medicine and thy medicine shall be the food. This has been stated 2000 years before. Just imagine 2000 years before, the amount of information and technology was not there, but still it was said by Hippocrates. Now, I think you would have all understood about the importance of the food. So food plays a very, very important role in our health. And if you ignore food, meaning that if you ignore the quality and quantity of the food, you are sure to land up in a problem sooner or later. The next most important thing is movement is health, we call. Movement is not medicine, it's called health. Very, very important is this, because what happens is, in the modern day, of course, in the present situation, because of the COVID, we are not moving out. But even during the normal period, people who are above the age of 40 or 50, unless otherwise they are pushed to go for walking or doing some exercise, they take things for granted and don't do it. If there is no movement, there is no life. Movement is life and movement is health. Please remember, some type of movement always have to be done. Any exercise is better than no exercise. You have to understand that, very, very important. Because some people say, I don't have enough space to do exercise. I don't have place to walk. I don't have time to do. You don't need to have anything like this. All you need to do is the mind to do the exercise. You can do it sitting in the chair in your house. Just move your hands up and down 50 times, 100 times, 200 times. Move your legs 50 times, 100 times, 200 times. That is more than enough as an exercise, because your muscular activity has to be more, which increases your metabolic rate. If you don't move your muscles, the metabolism ceases and you land up in huge toxic load in the body. And naturally, you all would have seen people who have a good physical activity are healthy, and people have less physical activity fall into ill health very soon. So exercise is a very, very important one. The best of the exercises, I would say, you can do walking, you can do swimming, you can do yoga, you can do qigong, you can do pranayam, and you can do anything for that matter, which you have to have your body move. Just sitting and watching the TV by moving your eyes does not give you a good exercise. So always please remember that movement is life. This is very, very important. But sometimes what happens is this alone is not enough. There need to be some movements and exercise for the brain also. In the modern day, because of good medical and health related services, people are living for longer duration. And you commonly nowadays see people having dementia, people having Alzheimer's disease, and people having a lot of brain disorders. Why is this? This is again because lack of exercise to the brain. So it is very, how do you exercise the brain? You cannot move the brain, is it not? But you need to give some work to the brain. Some sort of an activity you have to do. You can do some exercises like, like crossword puzzles you can do Sudoku, you can read something, you have to read something new. It is not that you read the same sloga again and again. Something that has to trigger your brain cells, something that has to activate your brain neurons. The neurons has to fire all the time. When you do the same thing again and again, the firing of the neurons is very less. When you do something which is new, the synaptic area, that is the connection between the two nerve endings, they start firing. The more they fire, the more exercise happens and the more brain strength appears. So the people who are having good brain exercise will never land up in dementia, will never land up in Alzheimer's disease. Of course, there are a few other factors which can contribute to this also, like especially like omega fatty acid intake and things like that. Those are definitely play a role. But the important thing is you need to give exercise to your brain. Apart from the body, brain is also very, very important. So exercise of some form has to be done always. The third most important of the modern day problem is stress. Every single person in this modern world have to be multitasking. If it is a man, they have to go to the office, they have to come take care of family related activities like going to the bank, going and making payments and all those things. Women, they do more multitasking than men. They have cooking, they have cleaning, they have washing, they have taking care of the children, they have to go for shopping. So many things they have to do it within a very short period of time. We all have only 24 hours. But of late in the modern era, what happens is there is so much of work because for the survival, we need to make money and we need to be on par with other people. So we stretch ourselves beyond certain level, which leads on to a stress. Stress is a very, very, very important factor for all modern day diseases. So what stress can produce? It can produce headache, it can produce heartburn, it can produce breathing difficulties, it can increase the risk of heart attack, it can increase your palpitation, increase the heartbeat. It is very important for fertility. Of late, you can see that lots and lots of fertility clinics are there, which was not there 20, 30 years before. Have you ever seen a fertility clinic 20, 30 years before? No. Only recently. Then what is the cause for this? I don't say it is stress alone. There are a few factors which I am going to address that a little later. But stress plays a very, very major role in fertility. In men, erectile dysfunction. In women, missed periods, tensed muscles, stomach pain, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, low or weakened immune system, sleep disturbances. Lot of people, they are not able to get sleep. They either take long time after hitting the bed to go to sleep, or they wake up 2 or 3 o'clock in the middle of the night and they are not able to go back to sleep. What is the cause for this? They are all depressed. The reason is the amount of stress. What does stress do in the body? Whatever be the cause for the stress, at the end of the day, what the body does is it produces enormous amount of stress hormones. The stress hormones are cortisol, adrenaline, DHEA, growth hormone, and a lot of things are coming from the adrenals. And the adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol are the worst. But they are the best and which is required for our normal day-to-day activities. But if they are crossing certain level, which is the one which very often does because of the stress, they produce havoc in the body. Increased adrenaline produce increased heartbeat, and the more the heartbeat you have, the lesser life you have. So palpitation, and you have difficulty in breathing. You have extreme amount of acid secreting into your stomach because of the stress. That leads on to burning in the stomach. This burning produces disturbance in the digestion. The stomach is the first part of the digestive tract. Of course, the second part, I would say, the first digestion takes place in the mouth, but the major thing happens in the stomach. The stomach requires high amount of acid to break down the food and send it to the small intestine. So the rest of the digestive activities can be taken place from the small intestine. Unfortunately, in the modern days, 90% of the people land up in the problem of dyspepsia or heartburn, or they call this gastroesophageal reflux disease. You know why? This is because of excessive secretion of the acid in an empty stomach. Now, when the food goes in, the amount of acid that is supposed to be required for the digestion is not enough. This condition is called as hypochlorhydria. It is not hyper. As people most of the time wrongly take it for granted, it is over acid. Many of the problems in the stomach is mainly because of hypochlorhydria, low acid. Low acid is one of the main cause for multiple diseases. You cannot imagine. Constipation is because of that. High gas is because of that. Stomach bloating is because of that. Even including your modern day very common disease like autoimmune disease are because of the hypochlorhydria. And the worst thing now what people do is I'm taking proton pump inhibitors, I'm taking ranitidine, I'm taking omeprazole, I'm taking pantoprazole, Pan-D, I have to take every day Pan-D. Without one Pan-D, I cannot survive. These are all things which are very, very, very wrong. They may reduce your burning, which is not because of anything else except for your stress, but that reduction in the acid will have a very strong impact on your digestion, and the undigested food particle, when they go to the stomach, to the intestine does not know what to do with the unprepared food. So it does only treat digestion of the protein and the fat, because the carbohydrate has to be digested from the stomach. Undigested carbohydrate, when they come into the intestine, they get fermented. The moment they get fermented, you start getting bloating. Excessive amount of gas forms inside. And this fermentation produces low amount of alcohol in it. And this gets into the blood and produce extreme tiredness and weakness. There are people who say, after food, I cannot survive, so I have to go and hit the bed. I have to lie down for 2 hours, or I have to lie down for 1 hour. How is it possible when you take a food, you have to get energized? Why is that you are getting weak? Why is that you are getting tired? Why is that you want to lie down? This is because of low acid leading on to fermentation and leading on to alcohol for production, which leads on to the tiredness and exhaustion. And not only that, this undigested food particles come down and produces heavy amount of bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine, and it also disturbs the large intestine bowel flora, leading on to excessive gas passages, excessive foul smelling gas and bloating, and the worst part is constipation. These are all things which we need to take care by just doing a proper stress reduction. So just imagine, by reducing the stress, you can take care of your entire gastrointestinal tract activities, and not only that, your circulatory system, your brain, your kidneys and your liver, and everything gets better. So stress is the modern day atom bomb. I would say it is the worst thing which can wipe off every single organ in our body. So the best way is to keep yourself with less amount of stress, but it is not possible. In the modern day life, there are working women who have to finish all their work at home. They go to the office they get stressed, they come back at home because they have to be on time for the children to have the food, and they have to do their working 7 days a week. The males are also like that. And all these things, and apart from all those things, the worst thing is many of the non-working women, meaning that the housewives, the television, they create big havoc by serials and other things. which produces enormous amount of emotional turbulence in their mind, leading on to excessive acid secretion, and that leads on to all these complications. So stress is the most important cause for most of the diseases. And what is the way out? There is no pill, there is no magic pill to reduce the stress. The best way to reduce stress is meditation. Meditation is the only thing which can calm down your mind, which can reduce your secretion of cortisol and adrenaline, which can give you a peace of mind, which can give you good sleep, which can give you good oxygenation, which can give you a good outlook towards, a positive outlook towards life. Everything the meditation can do it. So meditation is the magic key for completely solving all the stress related problems. So if you are stressed or not stressed, doesn't matter. If you do regular meditation, no matter what stress happens and whatever impact it produces on the body, you can easily overcome it. So please do meditation to overcome all those things. Meditation is the best medicine for stress. Any type of meditation. It does not mean that you need to follow only specific type of meditation which can give you stress relief. You can do any mind calming technique. Anything like prayer also, it is okay. But all you need to do is a focused mind. Anything that bursts the stress, including a laughter therapy, can be done. Seeing a good a comedy movie or comedy things in the television or something like that is always good, because laughter gives you enormous amount relief from the stress. So stress busting has to be the primary important thing for all of us on a daily basis. So please try to burst your stress with meditation. The next most important thing which people are getting very strongly affected and people have very less awareness is sleep deprivation. Equal to stress, sleep deprivation is one of the most important causes for most of the diseases. So you need to have a proper 8 hours of sleep every single day. Sleep is one of the pillars of optimal health. If a person is not sleeping properly, surely he will land up in some major illness very, very soon. Sleep deprivation is the cause for all physical, most, not all, most of the physical diseases, emotional diseases, mental diseases, and everything. Sleep is the main cause. Now, the common question people ask is, Doctor, I'm not getting sleep. I go to bed at 9 o'clock, but till 11:30 or 12 o'clock, I'm not able to sleep. And I sleep by 12, 12:30, I don't know when I sleep. But again, when I wake up and see that it is 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and then again, I'm not able to go back to sleep. What is that I can do? The simple solution doctor can give is take a sleeping pill. The moment you take a sleeping pill, say that sleeping pill, people get so annoyed and so scared and afraid. No, I don't want to take sleeping pill because it's going to be a habit forming one. So what? What is going to be habit forming one? It doesn't matter. We are going to take food right from the time of our birth till the last day of our death. We are taking food. In what way it is disturbing? None of the sleeping pills, if it is taken properly, will have any impact. Because I am a strong proponent of sleeping pill, because I have seen, I have helped a lot of people overcome their disease just by having a good sleep, including my father, who was taking a pill for close to about 30 years till he was 85, 86, till the last day he was taking without any difficulty, no side effect, no problem of dependency or anything like that. You have to choose. That is why you need to go to a family physician, ask him what is the best type of pill what I have to take. There are pills which are generally labeled as sleeping pills. It is not. We have one type of group of medicine called as benzodiazepine. Most of the people above 50 will know about the names of this. This Compose and Valium, these are all common things which people used to take about 30 years before. They are all old medicines. They are all benzodiazepines, which is used to be given in the earlier days. Now we have a lot of other group of drugs. They are called as anxiolytics. And modern day benzodiazepines are also relatively safer pills. Like there is a tablet called alprazolam. Alprazolam is one of the safest pill we can take up to 1 gram per day. 0.5 gram for 0.5 grams is for 0.5 milligram is enough. Even 1 milligram you can take, not gram, sorry. 1 milligram is your normal dose. 0.5 milligram is a normal dosage. Or if you don't get with 0.5, you can start with 0.25 and then go for 0.5 and then 0.75 and then 1. Sometimes you can take even 1.5, it doesn't matter. Okay, so please, if you are not getting sleep, please take a sleeping pill. Don't be afraid or don't be worried about having sleeping pill, because by doing this, you are saving so many diseases in your life. I'm telling you, many of the diseases, being insomniacs is one of the worst thing. When everyone sleeps and you are awake and your mind unnecessarily races through all the bad things in your life, what had happened, and it creates so much of other bad feelings in your mind, that produces stress. So body requires at least 8 hours of sleep. If you are not doing 8 hours of sleep, you are definitely into trouble. So sleep is the most important one. Please don't hesitate to take sleeping pill. Consult your doctor and go for the pill and have a good night's sleep of 8 hours. The next most important thing I would like to tell you about is the modern day gadgets. We can live without anything, but we cannot live without mobile phone. That is the present day, modern day reality. Now, if you see the image, what I am posting there, a person who has not used the mobile phone with the green side image, and the person who has used the mobile phone for 15 minutes. It is not necessary that you should have to have 15 minutes. Just 5 minutes is more than enough. This mobile phone has 9.2 gigahertz of radiation coming and hitting every single moment into that. It will cook your brain cells. This radiation will cook your brain cells. Please remember, I don't know how many people have seen the videos. There are videos in the YouTube which shows that with the 4 mobile phones switched on, they cook an omelette, they cook a popcorn, right? Just imagine how much cooking effect that one cell phone can have. 1/4 of that, you can cook 1/4 of an omelette within 1 to 2 minutes. Just imagine having the cell phone in your ear and then talking for more than half an hour, 1 hour. There are people who talk for 1 to 2 hours. There are people who are working in the IT. They say that there's no way we have to work. We have to have for hours together. But there are simple ways which can avoid it. But generally avoid prolonged use, no matter what, whether you have it in your hand or whether you are speaking. Mobile phones always radiate electromagnetic energy. Electromagnetic radiation is always hitting your body, right? So for that, the best way what you can do is, we cannot live without that. So you can use hands-free option. You can use the speakerphone option, or you can have a wire. I don't advocate for a wireless earphones or earpods. You always have to use a wire earphone with a wire which has the least of the radiation impact. And apart from all these things, when you are using mobile phone for the phone usage, it is fine. Nowadays, people don't use it for phone usage. That's only a fraction of the usage. They use it for seeing the movies. They use it for seeing the YouTube, your WhatsApp, or all social media, everything. Close to about 8 to 10 hours of screen time they are having. You know what is happening? The screens are so bright and they produce a blue light into that. This blue light will have a very strong impact on an organ in our head, which is called as we call it as a third eye, right? Which secretes melatonin. It's called pineal gland, which is called as a third eye, which is there between both the eyes in the center where women put the tilak. Just behind that is the organ. This is the organ which tells our body, the pineal gland, whether this is a daytime or nighttime, or the biorhythm is controlled by that. When we use a mobile phone, this gives the brain a feeling of daytime all the time. You take it at 10 o'clock in the night, the pineal gland feels that it is a daytime. So it does not secrete melatonin. If it does not secrete melatonin, you don't have sleep. Melatonin is a sleep hormone. It is getting depleted because of the constant usage of this mobile phone. It is completely switched off and you are all night awake, and people start sleeping late in the night at let's say 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock and sleep till 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the morning. That is again the worst thing, because you have to wake up by 6:30 or 7 o'clock, because that is the best time to wake up. Your brain is at the full force, and all your hormones and other organs are in the best of the health at that time. If you sleep in that time and wake up at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, the best time for your organs, the best time for your metabolism goes away, and you are going into a sick cycle. So always make sure that you sleep between 10 and 6 in the night, and never use, at least you have to stop using the mobile phones or any screen 2 hours before you go to sleep. So sleep is very, very important. And the next most important thing is, for a healthy life, this is one of the important things. The healthiest people are the ones who socialize, who have a lot of friends, who keep their mind relaxed. So you have to socialize and you have to pursue your passion. If you want to have any hobby, if you want to have some happiness, it is always coming only from your friends. With the relatives, there is always a problem, because there goes always a hidden agenda. So it is always better to have a lot of friends with whom you can chat, with whom you can open your mind without any hidden agendas. So that's very, very important to have a good friendship and relationship. The next most important thing I would like to tell you is about the bowels and the appetite. 2000 years before, again, like what food is, the food is medicine, what Hippocrates said, he said the same thing. I don't know how it is possible for him to tell at that time. He said, all diseases begin in the gut. That is the truth. The modern day, every single problem, they say they start from the gut. You know what it is? The gut is called? The gut is called as the second brain, because the maximum amount of neurotransmitters, that is the nerve chemicals which is secreted in the brain, next to the brain, the highest amount of secretion happens from the intestine, from the gut. If you are not keeping your gut clean, if you are not keeping your gut healthy, and if you are not keeping your gut in the perfect health, you always land up in a problem, not only physical, mental as well as emotional. There are people who are very, very moody. They are very depressed. They very frequently cry for no reason. They are very upset for everything. You know what is the cause? It is not the emotions. It is the emotions of the organism that is living in your gut. You will be surprised to know, I don't know how many people, how many people know about the details of the human body. In the human body, we have 100 trillion cells. 100 trillion cells. Somewhere between 80 to 100 trillion, we can say. Number of cells, the whole healthy human body. You know how many organisms or life forms are living in the gut alone? In the large intestine alone? It is more than 100 trillion bacteria and viruses and prions and funguses are living. More than 100 trillion. You are not an individual, please understand. You are a collective consciousness. All these organisms define your mood, define your health. Please understand. These 100 trillion people, 100 trillion bugs inside you, they are not bad. Most of them are the good ones. 90% of them are good ones. But if you are not having a proper healthy diet, if you are not having good lifestyle, meaning that 8 hours of sleep and things like that, these good bacteria, they get washed out and the bad bacteria come and land up in that. When the bad bacteria are there, they produce a lot of chemicals which are very, very unhealthy to the body. And unfortunately, these chemicals which are secreted in the intestine gets back into the circulation. Many of you know the function of the large intestine. The large intestine main function, you all know what it is? It is water regulation. It is not the kidney. It is the large intestine. When the food comes after digestion to the large intestine, colon, it comes as a liquid. What the large intestine does is reabsorbs the water from the large intestine and solidifies the stools and make the stools harder. But it reabsorbs the water. When it is absorbing the water, it acts as a sieve, as a filter. If the filter is good, it will only absorb the water and the micronutrients which are generated by the good bacterial flora. If the bacterial flora is bad or not healthy, it absorbs the toxins from that. It is called as a leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut is one of the most important causes for modern day autoimmune diseases. There are so many autoimmune diseases, including the type 1 diabetes and joint pains. And so many diseases are there which are mainly because of the improper absorption from the large intestine and improper bowel flora in the large intestine. So the large intestine, keeping healthy your large intestine is the most primary thing. A person is relatively happy mainly because of the large intestine. It is not because of it is clearing the gut, because the gut produces at least 80% of a hormone called as serotonin, which is called as a happiness hormone. You know that is happiness hormone? Without serotonin, you cannot be happy. Even if I crack the best of the joke, if you don't have serotonin, you will be crying, you will not be laughing. So serotonin, some amount of serotonin is secreted in the brain, but majority of the serotonin is secreted in the small intestine and the large intestine. So keeping your mind healthy is purely dependent upon your gut. Please take care of your gut. Add probiotics to your diet. Simple high fiber diet calms your intestine and keeps it healthy and provides good substrate for good bacteria. Your gut gives you happiness, so keep it always clean and healthy. It's not just the bowel movements alone. If you have a bowel movement, see, there are people who have a lot of gas forming. There are people who have a lot of bad smelling gas coming out. There are people who have constipation. There are people who have loose motions, loose stools all the time. These are all nothing because of anything else, not because of food also. Of course, food plays a small part. It is because of your bacterial flora in your large intestine. To keep it healthy is of primordial importance to you. So have your large intestine healthy. And the next one, of course, is a small one. No matter how long you have traveled in the wrong direction, you can always turn around. Meaning that stop brooding. Don't worry about what had happened in the past, because there are a lot of people who think about the past. I should have done like this. If I had done like this, I would have been like this. If I had taken decision in this direction, I would have been better. So something like, keep on thinking. This happens very bad in the night. When you are not able to get sleep, this comes to your mind. Brooding creates enormous amount of suicidal tendencies, lack of interest in life, and you feel depressed. So stop brooding and think about the present, and you can always take a U-turn and change the direction of your life as well as thinking. And modern day, we are all gifted with a beautiful and fantastic tool called as internet. Of course, it plays a very major role in many people. If you use it in the right sense, it will give you good results. If you use it in the wrong sense, it may also land up in a problem. It's like a double-edged sword. But what I want to tell you is, keep yourself updated. The most important thing is you have to get yourself updated and keep your knowledge on par with the present situation. Never hesitate to ask if you don't know. Please ask anyone. You can get into the internet and ask, but you can have people at home, young generation, they can teach you how to do that. Always take a second opinion on difficult decisions. Earlier, we have never had the opportunity. Now, we can get that second opinion or anything from internet or from other sources. No matter how experienced a specialist doctor is, please remember, he still does not know everything. Don't think that my doctor knows everything and whatever he says. It is most of the time it is right. But sometimes if you are going to take a very strong decision or very life-changing decision in terms of your health, please always have a second opinion. That is a must. Don't hesitate or don't feel shy to have a second opinion, or don't feel that the doctor is going to mistake you for this. So always have a second opinion before taking any decision is my feeling, because there are a lot of people who have missed this and landed up in a problem where simple solutions are available. They have landed up in a bigger complications for their lifetime. So we are all gifted with the internet where all the information is available at your fingertips. Always please learn. And of course, all the people you are there, you are all tech savvy. I can know that when you are in the Zoom without having good technological knowledge, you won't be here. But still tell your friends and your relatives to be keep yourself updated. The last and the most important thing I want to tell you is, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. The commonest mistake what I see in the practice is this. When I tell people, why did you come early? Sir, I have come to, see, for simple things, I don't want to come to you. It costs me time, it costs me money, and for this, I did not come. See, what happens is sometimes I have seen people who, for the reason that they have to pay for the doctor or they have to pay for the service, a small money, they don't go to the doctor and think that the doctor will only give this and go to the medical shop and take some medicine and things like that. But that lands up them in a bigger problem, and where you need to shell out all your lifetime savings. Please understand, you always get the opinion in the beginning itself. Don't worry for small spending, because that can save you from a huge amount of loss at a later date. It's just not the loss of money, loss of time, loss of peace of mind, loss of peace of mind for your family, because they have to take care of yourself. And the worst thing what elderly people will have is not to get a proper support from the family. Because I have seen a lot of people, old people coming to me and say that my son is not taking care, my daughter-in-law, my daughter is not taking care, and all these things. I said, why you want them to take care? Don't you have money, or don't you have this? No, no, I have everything, but I have given it to them, and I have to depend on them for everything. Right? These are all things, of course, this is out of the health, but still, I see a lot of people, they hesitate to come to the doctor because they want to spend a small money for giving to the doctor as a consultation fee, or doing some investigation, or do something in the earlier state itself. So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Have your own family physician to fall back. That's the most important thing I would suggest you. You can have hundreds of consultants, but they can never match one single family physician, because the family physician can give you solution to most of your problems. He may not be able to give you a very highly specialized solution, but still he can refer you to a person who can give you a proper solution. I have seen people who have a cervical spondylosis, but they have a headache. They land up because they have a headache, they end up in a neurosurgeon. The neurosurgeon keeps on giving medicine, does MRI, this, that, and all investigation. And 1 or 2 years later, it's still not going. Then finally he says, why don't you check your, go to your orthopedician, have your neck checked. Sometimes the problem can happen from the neck. He could have given that earlier. But later, since he has given that, 2 years have lost. And after 2 years, and when they go and get the things done, it is a simple cervical spondylosis which has caused the headache, not the brain related disease. So have your family physician who can give you or guide you properly. Have his number handy to call on an emergencies. Consultant can give you only a narrow view on their specialty, but always keep a regular visit to your family doctor. You don't need to be sick to consult your family physician. Have a good rapport with him. Go and say hello and have a small chat. And I think you are always protected. Discuss with him ways and means to prevent disease and stay healthy. So don't be, again I'm telling you, don't be penny wise and pound foolish. So I have completed what I want to say. I'm open for discussion now. Do you have any questions? I can answer to this. I really don't know whether I have given some useful inputs to you, but I feel that these are all the common things which we come across, or which I have faced in my last 38 years of my family practice, which is very, very often the commonest complaints from the people. So if the guidance has been given on to these areas, I think they can lead a very healthy life. See, death is going to happen for everyone, no matter whoever it is. But till the last moment, we need to be healthy. We should be independent, and we should not depend on the family or other people till the last breath of ours. That has to be our primary idea. So health and wellness has to be the primary mantra. And these small information what I have given, I'm sure will be helping you to keep yourself in good health. So any questions, please?
Doctor, I want to ask you something about.
Haresh Sujan from Mumbai.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Saab, thank you very much for a very informative, very educative, and very pleasing talk.
You are welcome, sir. You are welcome,
But
sir.
what I've noticed one thing, a
Yes,
couple
sir.
of things I noticed. One thing that your talk was related to 50 to 68 people.
It is not that alone, sir. It is younger people also.
That most of us are 70 plus. Second thing, you kept
Sir,
second thing you kept emphasizing, go to your doctor first, go to your doctor first. But most of the doctors have closed their clinics and are sitting at home.
I don't say that you need to go to a doctor's clinic, sir. Get in touch with him. I say get in touch with him. It is not that you need to go to the doctor. See, nowadays we take, let me tell you one thing, sir. Now we are very, very fortunate, and we are in the well-developed technology. So I really do about 8 to 10 consultations on a mobile phone, as well as on Zoom, and as well as on WhatsApp, as well as on Google Duo Meet. People call and then we do a consultation. You don't need to go there at all.
Okay, great.
See, why you need to go there? Because now what we do is, when I see the patient face to face in the video, I understand what is the main problem along with the complaints. The only thing what I cannot do is I cannot keep a stent and see that. That is a very small part of it which does not require in many conditions. So I give the investigation, people get the investigation done, see that, and I give the prescription, and it is finished.
Thank you. And
Yes,
third,
sir.
last thing,
My
what
name
you're
is
very
Radha.
informative, talk
I am
on
from
taking a sleeping pill for sleeping.
Yes, sir.
Sleeping is most important than any tablet.
Yes,
Which was
yes.
It was
Yes.
very comforting to most of us.
Sir, that is the best thing, sir. I tell you, I have personal experience in my family also. My father and my mother. My mother is still taking it. My father was taking for 35 years. Till the last day he was taking it. He had never had any, I never seen anyone, one single person in all these years of my practice having any problem with the sleeping pill. I can tell you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you.
Yes, sir. You are welcome, sir.
Itisolum is the same tablet?
Pardon me?
Itisolum.
No, madam, no. See, that is why I'm telling you. It is not that there are some tablets which are very safe and very good for health. It will not have any impact. You can consult your doctor and take it. I told you about Alprazolam. It is one of the safest one. Etisolam is a very different one. No, go to the doctor and please consult and take. I want to break your mindset not to take a sleeping pill. That's what I wanted to tell you. Sleeping pills are safe. Sleeping pills are healthy. Sleeping pills are the best to give you comfort. But choice of sleeping pill, you have to get it from your physician. Please don't go with the internet or anything like that.
The doctor has said Itisolum, then I need to take 0.25 milligram.
Yes,
Some
you
of
can
the
take.
time I get up 3 o'clock in the night and then I don't go to sleep. Even though I'm practicing these days meditation.
Okay. With 0.25, you are not getting, madam, there is too much of noise. Can you all please switch off your phones? Sorry, muted mics. Yeah. The most important thing is, if you are not getting sleep with one pill, let's say for example, Alprazolam, Etizolam, you can consult your doctor and you can combine some other pills along with that, which can give a better effect. You don't need to keep on increasing the dosage. Let's say simple example I am telling you. I told you about the pineal gland. Pineal gland secretes a hormone called as melatonin. This melatonin is called as a sleeping hormone. This melatonin is 1000% safe, not 100%, 1000% safe. It is even anti-aging and it is anti-cancer also. This melatonin, when it is combined with this, you can have a fantastic effect.
Melatonin these days, some people are taking tablets.
Yes, you can combine melatonin along with this. That is absolutely, you'll get a good peaceful sleep. But all these things, bottom line is, you need to consult your physician.
Doctor. Okay,
yes.
Thank you very
Please
much.
Take it. Yes.
Thank you. It was a great
Yes,
awareness for all of us.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
You have done so well.
I'm extremely happy if you all have a good sleep. That will be a good karma for me, because sleep is one of the most important thing I know for old age.
Hello, doctor. Doctor, one question.
Yes.
I am from Shardavani from Bangalore.
Yes.
But I will sleep after taking lunch in the afternoon.
Yes.
2 hours continuously. I am sleeping till 4:30.
Okay.
And I will get up. I will take rest and also I will get good sleep in the afternoon.
Okay.
In the night itself, I will sleep at 11 o'clock and at 4 o'clock, I didn't sleep. I was able to sleep.
Okay.
Totally, it is 7 hours.
Yes.
Enough?
That is relatively okay, madam. That is relatively
I cannot
okay.
able to sleep after 4 o'clock in the morning.
That doesn't matter, because you have already taken a 2-hour nap in the afternoon.
No, afternoon I cannot able to
Control your sleep. Control your sleep. I understand, because
after taking lunch.
Sleep after lunch, a small nap of 40 minutes has been shown in research to be an excellent rejuvenator.
But I can't.
But if you sleep for more than 40 minutes, like 1 or 2 hours, it is not rejuvenated, but it is definitely a good sleep. That sleep is to be accounted for the night sleep also, because you cannot have 8 hours of sleep and another 2 hours, totally put 10 hours, your body will
No,
not.
I can't able to control, doctor, so I will sleep.
No problem. Absolutely no problem, madam. You can sleep. Absolutely no problem.
Dr. Sankaran, my one
Thank you,
question,
doctor.
please.
Very
Yes,
good.
sir. Yes,
I'm
sir.
from Pune.
May I ask you a
I'm
question?
Dr. Madan from Pune.
Yes, sir.
I want to know about the role of Zolpidem.
Zolpidem, yes, sir. Zolpidem is one of, it is touted to be as one of the best sleeping pill. The biggest advantage of Zolpidem is it does not have a hangover in the mornings, because many of the pills, when you take it in the night, in the daytime also they feel a little bit sleepy or they have a sort of a hangover effect. The Zolpidem has been introduced into the American market with the special advertisement campaign. Earlier, I remember when I was there, I was looking at that. A person taking this, next day he is so fresh and energetic, he jumps from the cliff and start running to the office without any hangover. So you can take that, that is absolutely no harm, but it is one of the safest medicine combined to the, in comparison to your benzodiazepines like your Valium or your Compose, or there is another one called as Ativan, Larpos, Lorazepam we call.
My question is, how long you can take it? I have been taking for the last 5 years now. I
So
can't
another-
get rid of it.
Please take it for another 25 years, sir.
Oh, very good, no problem.
You can take, don't worry, sir.
Can I add melatonin in this?
No, not necessarily. If you are getting good sleep with it, don't add it.
Okay.
If you don't get the sleep, then you can add it. Otherwise, it's not necessary, sir. There are people who can just sleep with melatonin alone.
Okay.
Melatonin is over-the-counter prescription. You can buy it in India very easily. Melatonin is called Melocet. You can start with melatonin, and if you are not getting good sleep, then you can go for a regular sleeping pill. So a melatonin is one of the best thing and the safest one. It is your body's own secretion.
Okay, doctor.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
Firoz Wadia from Bombay.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes, evening we have a little drink.
Yes. Yes, sir. Proceed. Hello?
Sir, unmute yourself, sir.
Sir, I wanted to ask you, how do we promote good gut bacteria? Can we take that Yakult that comes now that's a probiotic?
Madam, in our Indian diet, our elders, knowingly or unknowingly, have given the best of the probiotic, which is the curd. Curd is one of the best probiotic. Now, normally our food normally contains the South Indian diet. If I say they have sambar, rasam and all these things, finally we land up with the curd rice, right? So this is the one which cleans the whole intestine, as well as it has contained lot of lactobacillus, which is one of the best probiotics. But if you are not able to get this probiotic properly, there are a lot of probiotics which are available in the market, which you can directly buy it from the medical shops, or you can get it a prescription from your doctor. The simplest way, other ways, if you can go into the YouTube and find out how you can make your own probiotic, best probiotic is called sauerkraut. I don't know whether you heard about it. You have this cabbage, cut it into small pieces, put it in a glass jar of water, and add a little bit of a few ingredients like vinegar and other things, and you can produce a pickle sort of a thing. After 5 to 7 days, it contains maximum amount of probiotics. One of the best and the safest probiotic is sauerkraut. How to make a sauerkraut? You please type it in the YouTube, and you get hundreds of different recipes and methods. You can do it at home. You don't need to go outside to get probiotic. Just a simple cabbage will be doing enough.
So what about apple cider vinegar?
Apple cider vinegar is not a probiotic, madam. It is basically a alkalizing agent. It can have a little bit of probiotic impact, but that is not to be substituted for a probiotic. You can take a little bit. It's absolutely good for health because your acid-base balance is maintained, and that is very good for your health. It contains a little bit of probiotic, but there are a lot of other things which are better than that.
In this pandemic, many of us have become addicted to WhatsApp. So
Yes.
what is your view on that? And at the end of this question, can you please leave your phone number in the chat box?
Yes, I have it, madam. I have it. I'll share it in the screen right away.
Yeah, and can you answer that question on?
Just a minute. I think you are able to see the screen now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Please come again, madam. The question.
Yeah, I just wanted to know now in this pandemic.
Yeah, about the WhatsApp. Yeah. Madam, WhatsApp is one of the best thing to happen in for the human communication, madam. I would say, I love WhatsApp. The reason is it is very, very effective for communicating because it is a very good tool for me as a doctor. When I want to see the investigation, people just take a photograph in WhatsApp and send it to me. I do a prescription and WhatsApp to them. WhatsApp is one of the best tools. But the problem with the WhatsApp and other things is it doesn't matter whether it's WhatsApp or it is Signal or something else. The amount of screen time, what you are doing is the one which counts. If you are using a mobile phone, the mobile phone carries radiation and it carries the light, bright light from that. These two are the things which are harmful. So as long as you are not using it for more than 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, maximum you can use 1 to 2 hours per day. Why I am telling you this is without that life is not possible nowadays. So you can use definitely. So as such WhatsApp, I would prefer, people communicate with that and that is one of the best tools ever in the internet. That is what my feeling is. But don't indulge into that too much.
Doctor,
okay.
Yes, one small question. Is Vibac a useful probiotic? Vibac.
What is that?
Vibac.
Vibac. Yes. Vibac is a probiotic, madam. Yeah.
Thank you, doctor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Doctor,
Yes,
now give me a chance.
Yes, please, sir.
Doctor, I am an occasional drinker.
Yes, sir.
Now, my question is, what should be the gap between the drink and the sleeping tablet?
Sir, if you are drinking occasionally or if you are doing it on a daily basis, if you are doing it on a daily basis, naturally the best sleeping pill will be the alcohol. Is it not? You take it and you can go to sleep. But if you are still not able to get sleep after alcohol, probably maybe an hour or two later, you can take the pill.
Okay.
As long as you are taking the alcohol in moderation, sir. Alcohol in small quantity and moderation is equal to food.
But I heard from somebody it should be a 3-hour gap.
No. 3 hours is not. Then you have to take the pill only at 1 o'clock if you start taking it 9 o'clock or 9:30.
Okay.
There is no point in taking that.
Okay.
So
can it kill you in your sleep?
Pardon, sir?
Can it kill you in your sleep? Alcohol and a sleeping tablet?
Kill you in your sleep?
Huh?
No, not necessary, sir. You can be killed without anything just like that. Stress is more than enough to kill, not necessarily alcohol. Alcohol in smaller quantities is equal to best health, sir.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry about it. As long as you are not making it as a huge quantity, as an addiction or as something like, no, it is definitely it is not a bad thing to do. Don't think that I'm propagating a proponent of it. Since see, the thing is, values in life is most important. I told you, the most important thing is you have to do something which is best you like in your life. I have people who say that, doctor, I don't need anything. I just need 2 packs of alcohol every day. That is my life. Please don't ask me to stop it. I said, go ahead and do it. If that is going to be giving you happiness, please don't go ahead and do it. The more the happiness, the more longevity you get. You don't take alcohol and you feel for it all the time. Your lifetime will be a few years minus.
Right.
I'm Nagaraj from Bombay.
Yes, sir.
See, we are having the central facility of BRC, CHS facilities, okay? So the concept of family doctor is not there so far. But I am now staying away from that hospital and all that. That is, the visit to the hospital is cumbersome. So can you start the have the family doctorship even now or any time in the?
Sir, in fact, one of my personal mission is to revive the family doctor culture, sir. because what happens is now everything becomes specialized, and it is, of course, it is all basically more economy and money and other things are involved. I can charge more money as a consultant, as a specialist for the same prescription what I am going to give it as a general practitioner. So what will I choose? I will choose to get myself specialized and give the same prescription what the other doctor gives. And next, so important thing is in the society, the problem is not with the doctor, sir. Please understand, sorry to say this, the problem is with the people. People feel people feel that I went to Apollo Hospital, you know, that they carry all these big bags and say that they feel so much elated to have done all these investigations in the biggest hospital. At the end of the day, nothing happens. I don't say that they are bad or anything like that. That they are one of the best hospitals because they have all the facilities for crisis management, for major surgeries and other things. They are there. But you cannot use a small pin to, break a building, right? So similarly, if you cannot use a bigger dagger to bring out the small thorn in your leg. You need to use the right vehicle. That is the most important thing. For normal day-to-day diseases and normal follow-up, you have to have a GP or a family doctor so that he can guide you properly. Now people only think about specialists. The moment they think about any problem inside, they search for the specialist in the internet and go to the specialist. The specialist will definitely do what they know. They don't. If you go to a gastroenterologist having a headache, okay, let's say a simple example, sir. There is a condition called as gastrogenic migraine. You land up in a person who's having, who is a neuroconsultant. He will give the best medicine for you for migraine. But say migraine will never get all right because the problem is with the food, with the stomach. If the stomach is the cause for the migraine, only when you go to a gastroenterologist who can correct the gastroenterology problem, your headache will go. He can guide you properly, but you cannot do this. You don't have the wherewithal information to do this. Only a family physician or a general practitioner can guide you properly. That's why I insist that those are all multiple layers. This is a layer and that is a layer. You cannot switch between these two. But the thing is, you have to go to a primary care physician first. Primary care physician is the person who will guide you properly. In America and all these places, all the advanced countries, you can never go to a consultant without being referred by a primary care physician. Only in India, we don't have the culture. We have to bring it because the people are not ready. They feel more happy going to a consultant and a specialist rather than going to a GP. That's the problem.
Okay, in that case, how do I choose the family doctor? Because I'm choosing a family doctor for my first time. Okay, should I go to any particular doctor and say, good morning, hello, I'm choosing you as a doctor, family doctor?
Sir, any relationship has to be strengthened over a period of time, sir. You cannot have a lasting relationship by one visit. No? You cannot be like a fall in love with one single side. So it requires repeated visits and repeated rapport.
Then on what basis I will choose my family doctor?
Sir, very simple, sir. Any person closer to your house, a doctor whom you can visit often, who is not confined to one specialty, who is a GP, you choose that person and see whether he is a properly qualified person.
Okay.
A properly qualified general practitioner near your house, who's at the easiest accessible distance, will be your family doctor over a period of time.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is Bhanumati from Vashi, Navi Mumbai.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm 70-year-old and my husband is 78-year-old. First, we went for the this one that is இந்த இது கொரோனாக்கு வேண்டிய இன்ஜெக்ஷன் எடுத்துட்டோம் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க புரியுது.
அப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுத்துட்டப்போ அவங்க சொன்னாங்க 28 நாள் சொல்லி, அப்புறமா சொல்றாங்க 6 weeks தானே. இப்போ now they are saying 8 weeks. அப்போ when should we go for the second vaccination?
Madam, please understand, corona is a new disease. Okay.
Yes.
It is not only new for you; it is also new for us doctors.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We have no clue, no idea how this corona is evolving.
Okay.
Now, what is happening is the first initial research showed after the first injection, 4 weeks later, if you give the second injection, the amount of antibodies generated seems to be okay. But over a period of time, once he started vaccinating people, they found that people who are getting vaccinated for some reason a little bit late, not in the 4 weeks or 6 weeks, they get a better antibodies in their body compared to who have been vaccinated on the 4th week. So why not we give this at the 6th week is the next step they went. So like in the 6 weeks, the amount of antibodies that, see, basically what we do with vaccination, we are creating antibodies to kill the virus when they are coming inside. So when it is getting better at the 6th week, it will be always better to have it in the 6th week, is it not? But there are there are 2 different or multiple vaccines available. There are different researches that are happening. I recently happened to read one research which says one of the vaccine is better effective in the 8th week of the 2nd dose. Another one is better effective in the 6th week of the 2nd dose. But this might change probably 3 months down the line. We don't know. Okay. So now what is presently being suggested by the doctors, please follow that. Because that is the updated information.
That is 8 weeks?
6th week, between 6 to 8 weeks. Between 6 to 8 weeks is ideal.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Good evening, doctor.
Good evening, madam.
Lakshmi from Chennai, Anna Nagar.
Yes, madam.
இப்போ செல்ஃப் தமிழ்ல பேசுறேன்.
சொல்லுங்க.
செல்போன் யூஸ் பண்ண அந்த ரேடியேஷன் சொன்னீங்க இல்லையா?
ஆமா.
ரேடியேஷனுக்கு ரேடி சேஃப்னா இதற்கு ஸ்டிக்கர் இருக்கு. அது சேஃபா?
நான் கூட என்னோட மொபைல் போன்ல வச்சிருக்கிற ரொம்ப அட்வான்ஸ்டு ரேடியோ சேஃப்னு சொல்லிட்டு நானோ பார்ட்டிகல்ஸ் வச்சிருந்தேன். எல்லாமே ஒண்ணுதான் மேடம், அதெல்லாம் பெரிய விஷயங்கள்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது. The radiation that is coming from the mobile phones are very, very overwhelming. What I can tell you, a simple solution is, if you go and open the website of the mobile company, phone company, whatever you are using, they would have mentioned a value called as SAR value. SAR, SAR value in போட்டுப்பாங்க. And the SAR value கம்மியா இருக்கிற phones are better. SAR value higher இருக்கிற phones more radiation. So you have to choose which is the lesser SAR value, and the more the cost, higher the SAR value. The most cheapest phone or higher the SAR value. The நடுவுல இருக்கிற phones இருக்கு பாத்தீங்களா, அதுதான் கொஞ்சம் better. There are few phones, I should not tell the name of the company, but anyway, for your question I'm telling you, there is a phone called as Samsung Note னு ஒன்னு இருக்கு. அதுதான் இருக்கிறதுலயே lowest SAR value, but unfortunately it's very expensive. சரியா? ஆனா இருக்கிறதுலயே சுமாரான SAR value பார்த்து வாங்கிக்கங்க. You buy better SAR value.
Already having phone, இந்த போனுக்கு அதை யூஸ் பண்ணலாமா? நியூ போன் நெக்ஸ்ட். அந்த ரெடி சேஃப் வந்து எந்த அளவுக்கு
I really don't know what company you have and what methodology they are using.
இண்டிவிஜுவல் பர்சன் டைரக்டா பண்றாரு சேஃபா?
இல்ல எனக்கு தெரியல மேடம். I'm extremely sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know. I have to accept honestly that I don't know it is, because I have had a lot of things, but I'm not happy with any of those things. But they may have a very small value. Now I am not saying that it is no. If you vechirukadhu nalla illana sollala, it may have a good value, but all you check it from the person who has given to you. On what basis you say it is? Show me the proof for this. If they show you the proof, see, this phone is creating this much value. There are EMF idu irukku. Measurement gadgets. EMF measurement gadget இதுல பக்கத்துல வச்சிட்டு அதை ஒட்டிட்டு திருப்பி வச்சு பார்த்தானா என்ன கம்மியா தெரிஞ்சிடும் இல்லையா உங்களுக்கு? You can check that always with the EMF measurement gadgets.
Sir, I am Sivakumar from Bangalore, sir.
Yes, sir.
In the context of Corona situation,
yes,
I am confined to the house.
Yes.
Instead of walking, I do a small workout involving push-ups and Bitex. However, I read recently somewhere in the internet where one doctor is telling that walking has no substitute at all, and it is like staple food, which is the basic necessity. Other workouts are like supplements only. It is depressing what I read.
No, sir, please, never get depressed, sir. There is always a solution for everything. You know that is in NCC la பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா? NCC.
இல்ல சார் இல்ல.
இதுல அதுல வந்து parade march அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு march without movement நின்னுட்டே ஸ்டெப் போடுவாங்க.
ஓ சரி.
You walk but you don't move forward.
Okay.
You move your hand and leg as though you are walking.
Oh yes sir.
That is equivalent to walking. Your brain does not know whether you are moving or not.
Oh right.
All it knows is whether your hands and legs are moving. That's what it gets. நீங்க எவ்வளவு தூரம் நடந்தீங்கன்றது அதுக்கு தெரியாது, மைல் கிலோமீட்டரா தெரியாது. It only knows that whether you had 30 minutes of static walking, stand in one place and walk. That's more than enough. If you have a room which is 8 by 8 or 6 by 6,
okay, yes,
walk between the walls.
Oh, that is true. But what about this one, sir? I have been doing all along this workout, these bitex and push-ups.
That is 100% excellent, sir, I tell you. Because those are all very good because they are called as resistance exercise.
Yes, yes.
These resistance exercises are excellent for diabetics, especially for diabetics, to sensitize your body to insulin. The best exercise, more than walking, is your resistant exercises.
Okay.
Because to sensitize your body to sugar, you have to have a push-up. All these are called resistant exercise. This has to be done.
Okay.
So walking also helps, but this helps more than that. So a combination of walking and doing this, you can be in the best of your health. Don't worry. You don't feel worried about this at all. You can always do any type of exercise, no matter, even sitting in the chair, you can do it, sir.
Okay.
Like, you would have done the drills in the kindergarten, no, in the school.
Correct. Yes.
Do
I
that.
remember.
That is that. That's simple. But do it for half an hour. Do it for 15 minutes. That's more than enough.
Then I do it for 15 minutes only, these things.
Fine, sir. You can do
I don't
15 minutes.
because I am 70, I don't strain myself too much.
Sir, you are too young, sir. Why you call 70 as old age? You are in the second team.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead and do it for half an hour. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir.
Doctor, is there what is to be done to keep the oxygen level normal?
Pardon me? Oxygen level? Hello? I'm not able to hear you, madam.
Punita ma'am, repeat your question, ma'am.
No, what is to be done to keep the oxygen level normal?
Very simple, madam. Breathe deep, do pranayam. Nothing to beat pranayam in increasing the oxygen level.
Oh, diet?
If you can do, diet will not improve the oxygen level, madam. Diet will never produce that. Only exercise. Through the lungs, you have to do it. Pranayam or walking or exercise. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Doctor, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I am about 83 years old.
Okay.
I do my yoga
Yes.
for more than 1 hour,
Yes.
and also pranayam for more than half an hour.
Yes.
But I am not able to walk much because I have some balancing problem. Is that okay?
Sir, balancing problem is, see, usually this is very common in aged people, but you need to find out what is the cause for your balance problem, sir. If you can identify, there are few things like, for example, if you are not able to stand up with your eyes closed without moving, let's say, for example, there is a problem with your inner ear balancing mechanism.
What?
No, you just stand up close to your wall or hold a small table next to you so that you don't fall down, and close your eyes.
Okay.
With your eyes closed, if you are able to stand without any problem, it means that you are healthy. If you are swaying, let's say, for example, if you are swaying or tending to fall down with your eyes closed, it means the balance mechanism of your brain, which is coming from the inner ear, we call as a cochlea and the semicircular canals. We call this as a labyrinth. There is a problem in that.
Okay.
But if you are not able to stand even with your eyes open, then there is some neurodegenerative disorder, or it could be because of arthritis or because of your spine problems.
Yeah, I have arthritis, there no doubt, but I am able to stand with eyes closed also without any problem.
You are not able to stand with your eyes closed.
I can.
Then what is the problem, sir? Then what is the balance? What do you mean? You are not able to walk comfortably, is it?
Yes, no, I cannot walk as normally as people do because I tend to, feel like I fall.
Yeah, you sway. So then the best way, you see, this is because of the weak brain cells. The neurons have become weak because of the aging process. Okay. There are few options for this. One is you can use a walking stick so that now you can have two legs and the third one as a walking stick, triple one.
I'm using the stick. I'm using walking stick.
You are using a stick, but still you are swaying.
Yeah, still I feel that if I might fall, but though
then it is only the neurodegenerative condition, sir. It is arising from the brain. We call this as a neurodegenerative disease. You have to consult your physician, and you can take some supplements called as alpha lipoic acid, omega fatty acid, and a few things like that, which strengthens your nervous system. That is number one. Number two, you can take some tablets which can calm your labyrinth. We call this, there are tablets like something like, commonly called as Vertin. These type of things can be taken if there is too much of swaying.
Okay.
Number three, you can increase your circulation. See, sometimes what happens is the circulation gets a little bit disturbed while walking.
Okay.
And you have to do some simple exercises for increasing the circulatory system, or you need to do some special treatments. So there are some tablets which can increase your circulation.
Okay.
Brain circulation. The lesser the brain circulation in the brain, you will have this impact. So you have to check with the doctor to give some medicine which can improve your circulation.
Okay. One more question.
And also you can also try natural herbal remedies like this ashwagandha and these things which can enhance your energy level in the body so that these things can be overcome.
Okay. One more thing, doctor.
Yes, sir.
I take liquor 60 milliliter a day.
Okay.
60, is that okay? I feel happy. No problem.
No, see, it's okay or not is not the quantity, sir. Actually, how your liver is able to metabolize this is the most important thing, sir.
Everything is okay.
If everything is okay, please go ahead and enjoy your drink, sir.
Okay. So I can go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I get your green signal.
Yes.
Thank you, doctor.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
Hello, good evening, doctor.
Any medicine for
Hello,
IBS?
good evening, doctor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
I am 74 years old and I am speaking from Thane, Maharashtra. I am taking sleeping pill Trica 0.50 from last 7-8 years.
Sir, I am not able to hear, sir. Come again, sir.
I am taking Trica.
Trica. Okay.
0.50 from last 7 to 8 years.
Yes.
What happens? Sometimes I woke up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Sometimes again I sleep and sometimes I won't sleep.
Okay.
And when I don't sleep, then I take again half tablet of the same Trica.
Yes.
Is it right or not?
Absolutely right, sir. No problem, sir. Go ahead, sir. Absolutely right. No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
100%
no problem, sir. Please go ahead and take it, sir. No harm.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Doctor, is there any medicine for IBS?
Madam, for IBS?
Yes.
Madam, IBS is a irritable bowel syndrome, madam. It is more of multiple causative factors. We have to investigate and tell you what is the best medicine. Now, to simply put, what I can tell you is the best thing what you can do is start taking good amount of probiotics. That is the first step. But sometimes what happens is there could be a small role of what is called as autoimmunity in the body. There is a small role of inflammation in the body, not in the body, in the intestine. So we have to find out what is the cause for this, and then I have to address it. Let's say, for example, I have to do a test called as IgE to see whether you are sensitive to gluten. If you are sensitive to gluten, I need to tell you to stop gluten. Just stopping gluten itself, you can have your bowel getting corrected. but I don't know whether you're gluten sensitive or not. So we need to do a blood IgE test. The normal value should be between 60 and 100. Anything above 100, you have to stop all the gluten containing products like wheat, white sugar, milk, oats, barley, maida, and if you are a non-vegetarian eater, fish and eggs. These are all things to be stopped. If you are a vegetarian, first stop the milk and wheat, maida, and of course oats and barley. If you stop this, within probably 2 weeks time, you can find remarkable improvement. Why I am telling you 2 weeks is, you cannot stop this today and expect the change to happen tomorrow. You have to give some time for the body to respond to that. So stop these things and then see, wait for 2 weeks and see, you will see phenomenal improvement in your bowel activity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brown bread, wheat bread.
No wheat bread, sir. Bread and all breads to be stopped completely when you are above the age of 60 or 70, sir. The thing is, maida is one of the worst thing or the biggest assault to our large intestine, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, doctor.
Yes, madam.
Is Trica safe medicine for sleeping? Trica?
Trica you can take, madam. Trica you can take it. No problem.
No problem with that?
Absolutely no problem. They are all very safe medicine. Trica is nothing but alprazolam. You can take 0.5, 0.75, even 2 tablets, 1 milligram, you can take it. No problem at all.
But suppose you get up in the middle of the night, I hope you don't fall because you have taken a sleeping tablet.
Yeah, that's very important because these tablets are only anxiolytics. They are not sleeping pills. You have to get up and slowly you have to move around.
Yeah,
that is the most important thing. But it won't produce a sleep like a sleeping pill. They are only classified as anxiolytics, but it also gives a sleep. But always you remember, in old age, whenever you have a change in the position or movement, you need to be a little bit cautious and wait for the things to happen. Just get up from the bed, sit in the bed for 1 or 2 minutes, stabilize your circulation, and then get up. Just getting up from the bed and standing upright, your blood circulation to the brain will be reduced and you will immediately feel blackout and you might fall. So get up and sit in a vertical position for 1 to 2 minutes and then slowly get up and stand for 1 minute and then start moving. That will be the safest way to move around, especially in the nights.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I said that
Doctor, how to enhance memory?
How to increase memory?
Yes.
For you or for younger children, madam?
For me, I forgetfulness is so much that whole day I spend searching, and it becomes a real pathetic condition. Memory is very poor. I was a teacher for 20 years and a principal for 5 years. Now what has happened, I don't know.
You have overused your brain, that is the problem.
சொல்லுங்க சார் என்ன பண்ணணும்?
But ரொம்ப simple தான். 15 ml of coconut oil. Take every day 15 ml of coconut oil. அதை நீங்க டெய்லி அதை சாப்பிடுங்க. 15 ml of coconut oil, முடிஞ்சா organic.
Okay.
That is one of the best food for the brain. There are people who have been Alzheimer's. 85% of the people have improved dramatically with just drinking 15 ml to 30 ml of coconut oil per day. One of the best oil for cooking and for taking in the old age is coconut oil.
Sir, எப்போ எடுத்துக்கணும் சார்?
காலையில எடுத்துக்கோங்க, சாயங்காலம் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, எப்போனா எடுத்துக்கோங்க, எப்போனாலும் பரவாயில்ல. அது என்ன டைம் எல்லாம் கிடையாது.
In fact, we use only coconut oil for even our household things.
No, please take it raw coconut oil.
Okay, sir.
நீங்க குக் பண்ணாதீங்க. அதை குக் பண்ணீங்கன்னா குவாலிட்டி சேஞ்சஸ் அது.
Okay.
அதனால raw coconut oil, and if it is possible, get a coconut oil which is from the செக்குல அரைக்கிறாங்க இல்லையா, செக்கு எண்ணெய்னு சொல்றாங்கல்ல, அதுவும் இந்த ஆர்கானிக் coconut oil யூஸ் பண்ணீங்கன்னா it has to be cold pressed coconut oil. To be specific, organic cold pressed coconut oil 15 ml daily will improve your memory dramatically.
Once again, sir, organic
cold pressed. ஆமா, அது இப்ப நிறைய விக்குது, எல்லா இடத்துலயும் விக்குது உங்களுக்கு நிறைய இடத்துல.
Sir, continuously.
Doctor, what about dryness of mouth? Because of dryness of mouth, I get up in the night so much to drink water.
Yeah.
They
Madam,
just are drinking.
dryness of the mouth is due to multiple reasons, madam. If you're a diabetic, if
Yes.
you take diabetic medicines, that can produce dryness of the mouth in the night, madam. There's no way you have to drink a little bit more water. But the problem is the more water you drink, the more time you have to get up to go to urine.
That's why I don't sleep well.
அதுதான் நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும் பக்கத்துல வச்சுக்கிட்டு கொஞ்சம் வார்ம் வாட்டரை frequent-ஆ பண்ணிக்கோங்க. But there are some good preparations, not allopathic, non-allopathic preparations. You can send me a WhatsApp or something like that. I can, because as a medical doctor I cannot tell all the other system. It is prohibited from. So I can suggest you some good non-allopathic medicines.
Okay.
Belonging to the other system.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll wind up with some questions.
Memory பத்தி ஒரு கேட்டுருந்தாங்க. left brain use பண்ணிட்டு
சார் எனக்கு நிறைய டிஸ்டர்பன்ஸ் இருக்கு கேக்கல நீங்க சொன்னது சார்.
எப்ப continuous use of the left brain, that is analytical ability, it will be the cause for forgetting or something like that, Alzheimer or something like that. The non-rational thinking also should be there. Is it true that?
Can anyone repeat it? I am not able to.
Shivakumar sir, we are not able to follow you. But anyway, we have shared doctor's contact number. You can contact him personally and get your doubts clarified. Dear all, let's wind up the session with this because he has been from 4 o'clock. He's been continuously, very patiently answering us, and he has done a good job. Right now, so let us not stay anymore. You're all welcome to contact him to his personal number. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you. I hope I'm happy if I have given you some quality information so
undoubtedly,
that
sir,
life will be happy. Thank you.
I request.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Very good.
Wait for an official vote of thanks.
Eye-opening.
Please keep muted for the vote of thanks. Please all keep muted for the vote of thanks. Yes, Raghupathi sir.
I take the privilege of giving the vote of thanks to Dr. Mohan Selvam. Very long day so far I have come across the doctor's name. But and he is doing the integrated therapy. We were fortunate that one came to Chennai Zoom session. And he has given different things about the integrated therapy and all. This time he has fully concentrated on most of the very, very important subjects to us, especially how he has dealt today. And his voice is so clear and very everyone understands.
Bhavna speaking. Hello, sir. Sir, I'm taking a red pill, sleeping pill. Sir.
Yes.
I'm taking red pill, a sleeping pill.
Yes, you can take it, madam. No problem. Restel is a sleeping good pill. You can take it without any problem. You can take it. No problem.
Raghupathi sir, continue, sir.
So, with this excellent practice of 40 years and with foreign degree, but so simple and very, very convenient for everyone to talk. In fact, more than the talk he has rendered, he has given the consultation to many of our dignitarians. Very, very useful. In fact, I have first time come across people asking whether they can take the liquor they can take, whether sleeping pills they can take, and what not. These are the things which we are afraid to even discuss with the doctors. They were worried to talk about this. And the family medicine, yes, the family physician nowadays very, very rare. But if we can get such a person like Mr. Shankar, I think we will definitely be very family medicine. In fact, I can even recommend to Felisa, if there is a system of 1 or 2 doctors in our panel for the dignitarians, for the Dignity Foundation, his name can be considered also. And lot of the issues he has talked about the food, diet, and the exercise, meditation, and stress, which is very, very common, which we are unable to do it. It is always said, why to think of the past? Past is not in your hand, future is not in your hand, past is past. Then be happy with the present. That is how we have to manage the stress and all. Sleeping, yes, the melatonin is come in the US. Now it is available in India also. And the friendliness, our Zoom sessions we are getting now, he has given a talk which has been more than 1.5 hours. which has been benefited for more than 150 people here, and it will reach another 1,500 people in Dignitarians, and also wide it will be. That is very, very good, useful for us. Then the bowel and intestines and all. See, many of these things, the gas, constipation, these are all very common things which we are doing. But if we take proper this, definitely we can come out of it. And his speech is really touching upon. Not only that, he has given about the exercises, yoga, meditation, and he has sidelined everything. And one of the ladies has asked even for which cell phone she can collect, which this one. See, this is the very, very rare question asking for a doctor what cell phone she can buy and keep it. So such things he has given. We must be very, very thankful to him. And really, we are very happy, sir, that you have spared your 1.5 hours best movements. And this 1.5 hours we have given, though it is a free consultation and discussion for us, it will reach to many, many people across, because we, the seniors, we are richly benefited. We thank you a lot. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.